Hey everybody, it's Babette back again. Sorry, I had to cut off my earlier live because I had a phone conference and I've been running a little behind schedule all day, and I apologize for that. So I'm just going to go back. I left it off with the energy that we give our dogs. And let's see, where's that text that I was looking for? This is kind of like your two for your Throwback Thursday. Um, Shoot, where did that text go that I was reading? It's pickup time, so it gets a little crazy right around now. Okay, so this was from a friend. Um, I think I think how we behave as trainers, our gait, and how we teach owners about how to walk the dog. Then there was Captain Haggerty, whose gait wasn't exactly fluid, especially as he got older. He seemed to be floating along. The dog on the end of his leash was perfectly clear on how and where it needed to walk. Point is, maybe we arrange ourselves too much and should be arranging the dogs with that clarity that your father magically showed them. Not all about the approach, but more about the communication. So, yeah, I was talking about energy. What are we bringing to a dog? For example, we have a doodle right now in for training, and he's been like a real brat with the other trainers. And finally, I stepped in. I said, let me check him out. And he completely changed. Now, why, when I took the leash, did he completely change? And this is not as a bragger. My trainers haven't been training as long as I have. They put off a different energy than I do. I've had a lot of dogs come after me. I know how to handle it. They not so much. They're learning. They're great at it. They're good. But you know what? The more hours you have at the end of the leash, your energy changes. Your energy, your communication with the dog, it's just something that's intuitive that really can't be taught, and it's something that just with practice. The old saying, how do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice, practice. Same thing with the dogs. So think about the energy you're giving your dog. Think about what are you conveying to your dog that you don't even realize. So that same owner, I'm trying to think if it was the same dog, because we have a couple of dogs that are a little silly right now. Yeah, it was the same dog, and the same dog. So I had a lesson with the owner yesterday, and she had her previous follow-ups with the other trainers. Then she asked to meet with me, and talking to her, it's really more about her confidence. She's not portraying confidence to her dog, and her dog is picking up on it. So her dog is learning, like, I can take advantage of this one, and I can take advantage of that one, and this one, not so much. So I'm not even going to bother trying. And it's not something that just humans give off to one another, but dogs give off to one another too. We had a visit from Gatsby. We call Gatsby the mayor. He's our little pity man who was staying here. He came here every day for the first 5 years of his life, actually. And Gatsby was the mayor of Haggerty Dog Training. We love Gatsby, and he came to visit us today. And the interesting thing about Gatsby is when Gatsby would come in, when other dogs come in to the center where all the other dogs are, you're going to get dogs that are going to ignore, dogs that are going to bark. It was very interesting because Gatsby would come in, he would just take his place on his bed, and dogs that thought they were aggressive, they'd see him and they'd be like, oh, I think I'm going to go the other way. Gatsby didn't even look at them. He just walked in. Just his presence. Whereas dogs that would potentially go after every dog that would come in, again, they'd see Gatsby and they'd be like, yeah, maybe not. And they would just kind of ignore them. There was just something about Gatsby, and he doesn't say anything. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't go up to the dogs. He just is. And it's kind of like when you go to a party and you're at a party and somebody just walks in and they just have this presence about them. I'll never forget one day many years ago, I was on Worth Avenue in Palm Beach, and I was with some friends, and all of a sudden, like, the energy on the avenue shifted. And down comes walking Ellen Barkin and her husband. I'm drawing a blank. I don't even know if she's still married to him. Ron Perlman. I think it's Ron Perlman. He was a billionaire. Is a billionaire. I don't even know if they're still married. But they were only like 50 feet ahead of us, and we were like walking towards them. But then all of a sudden, you could just see kind of like the seas parted. They weren't saying anything. They were just walking down the street. They just had this aura about them, this energy about them. Oh, and she was also with who's that redheaded girl? Very pretty actress. I can't think, like you guys are gonna give me the answer. I can't think of her name. Julianne Moore. Julianne Moore. And Julianne Moore had no makeup on. She was beautiful, and she just they were just walking down the street, but they just had this energy about them. There's just this feel about them. Here I am on Worth Avenue in Palm Beach, the most expensive real estate in the world, or one of the most expensive streets in the world. And here they come, and they just part the seas. So it's all about your energy, your attitude, and what you exude to your dog. What kind of energy are you giving your dog? That's something you really have to ask yourself and think about. So that's on energy. And in honor of yesterday was National or Happy Only Child Day. I'm an only child. So people say we're self-centered and we're spoiled brats. You know what? I think we learn how to be independent. We learn how to, I think we also, in some levels, I think sometimes we learn how to become a little bit more mature and become more social at younger ages than most people, or to feel more comfortable with strangers, because we have to go elsewhere when we're seeking friendships or communication with others. Of course, during the pandemic, thank God there was no pandemic when I was growing up. So one thing I wanted to touch on are singletons. Singletons are puppies that are the only puppies left in the litter. Sometimes the mom only gave birth to one. Maybe a few died, with them, or the litter mates died, or whatever it might be. They end up being the only one in the litter. Singletons miss out on a lot of socialization and conditioning. People don't realize it. There's so much socialization and conditioning that happens within the litter. The puppies are learning pack order, they're learning pecking order, they're learning to take corrections from their mother. They're learning when to back off from other puppies. Puppies are learning to correct each other, and they're learning boundaries, but they're also teaching boundaries. They're also pouncing on top of each other, rolling on top of each other. There's a lot of tactile communication and a lot of tactile stimulation that's going on. So when you have a dog that's a singleton, they're generally, and I'm speaking generally, they're more likely to be less sensitive to when you touch them, less sensitive when you go to brush their teeth or do their nails, cut their nails. They tend to be a little bit more difficult with other dogs because they're not used to taking direction from other dogs. So they at times can be very bossy with other dogs. And there are extremes to that, but that's something to keep in mind. When you're purchasing a puppy, ask your breeder, ask the breeder, how many puppies were in this litter? If they were a singleton, depending on the breed, you might want to just be cautious, and you want to actually get that puppy as soon as possible so you can get it out as much as possible. You want it to be with the mother until the mother's done feeding it. But you also need to get that puppy around lots of puppies. And it's great if you can find another litter. And, good responsible breeders are going to do their best. If they have a singleton, they are going to try to get that puppy with other litters and see if they have friends that are raising other litters, so that maybe they can get that puppy in there so the puppy will learn how to communicate with the other dogs. It's a huge, important part of early development for every single dog out there, purebred or otherwise. So I just really wanted to mention those singletons for National Only Child Day. And then the last thing I want to talk about is the Captain Haggerty Scholarship Award for the International Association of Canine Professionals. I do, as every year, I pick the applicant. This is for someone to be able to attend the IACP conference. This year it will be in Jacksonville, Florida in September. I think the dates are September 16th through the 19th, something like that. So your conference fees are paid. I'm not sure what else is paid. That I have to get you more information on. But if you're under 25 and you would like a career with dogs, I strongly recommend that you apply for the Captain Haggerty Scholarship. Anyway, I just wanted to finish my part 2. I'm sorry I had to cut everybody off on the first part of today's series. I did have to make my my phone conference. Thanks again for tuning in. I'll see you guys next week. Have a great day, everybody.